Hey guys, and welcome to a VOD review of a scrim that OCG did versus VST. I'm just going to be quickly going through this VOD since I uploaded the POV version of mine on my channel for my personal use, but now I'm going to do an overall VOD so everyone can learn and improve out of it. First, I started talking about the team comps. Both comps are running attack comps, so they're both looking for team fights. This one is potentially more to be a split comp with zone control from the Syndra and the Orianna and the Trundle to get ahead in the side lane if he gets ahead enough of the Scion. But for the most part, they're just looking to fight with these two, the two EP carries, looking for zone control since Syndra and Orianna have fantastic zone control. And picking them both as well denies the traditional stat check matchup between Orianna and the Syndra. One of the biggest issues, they don't really have a pure tank, depending on how the Trundle builds. I don't like the grasp either into the side. I think Conqueror is much better of a rune to take overall. But overall, usually scaling is not a thing, but because these comps have very similar win conditions, the scaling is definitely on the side of OCG. Since they have, Malzahar, Tristana, and they have the three tanks in the front line. They have a very easy front to back to execute comp. The Malzahar can obviously peel for the Tristana if the Tristana can't self-peel with her ultimate and her rocket jump. So all this comp wants to do in the early game is just get to 2 items and then look for fights around the Baron and the Dragon when they spawn. And make sure they just don't die. Basically, they just purely outscale because this Tristana has the new 80 carry items, so she's able to get to late game. And once we get past 2 items, these mages don't do as much as the Tristana. So that's all we're going to be looking to do here. As we jump into the VOD, I'm just going to speed it up. The start. See, like, kind of simple start from both sides. I just want to sit around here and look for the vision warding, like controlling the brushes, make sure there's no invades going down. The mid laner should be middle and the jungle should be top side, but the Sejuani is filling in for a scrim, so obviously not as relevant. See the team's kind of just dancing around, whatever. Decent 120 walls from both sides. Sion as well moving up here in lane to sort of check out what's going on, knowing that they're starting top side. So both teams, of course, going for these early wards, and bot lane, we know that the Lee Sin's starting top side because of where he walked. What they want to kind of do in these different lanes is, like, the mid lane is just pretty much farm matchup. All you got to do is not die and get as much CS pim as possible. Ori can zone with ball, but Malzahar should be walking up in between the cooldowns to try and get poked down. The top lane is not actually too familiar how that matchup goes. You don't see Trundle top very often anymore. I know Trundle obviously shreds, but I think early on Sion has wave control pretty much the entire matchup because he uses Q and E to wave clear. And in the bot lane, obviously, Syndra has more wave control, but they just want to sit back, wait for Syndra to run out of mana, freeze the wave, and then look for all-ins with the Alice and Tristana combo. It's very, very powerful early on, especially against a mobile character like Syndra. And the Morgana shield can't do anything against Alice. See, early gank coming in from Sejuani. Didn't get any sums, lost half his health, and that's mainly because it was warded. Interesting ward there from Lee Sin. I think he was just hopping in to go for a gank cross map. Looks like jungle is here just traded vertically, so that makes sense why bot lane was ready for the gank. Syndra did have to go back to base though. Has TP but decides to walk back to lane. Not too sure about that. The mid lane Malzahar's down significantly in CS, has to burn flash there because he wasn't tracking jungler. We knew he was top side, should have been hovering bot side a little bit more and playing back respectively, knowing that he's a Sejuani in reset, which means both characters had cleared camps. Obviously the Poro there spotted at the Lee Sin. Couldn't really get a gank off there anyway, just based on the lane position. It's very hard to gank an Alice Tristana lane. It's a little bit like trying to gank a Kalista Thresh when Kalista has 6, so you can't really get onto either of them. See, this Morgana has the push, and both the supports are doing that. It's a really good lane position for the Tristana here. Obviously up in CS, but the Syndra they should be pressuring the Syndra off. The Alistar should be positioning. The Alistar should be positioning up more aggressively when the wave resets to try and force the Syndra back to here. So she has to Q on the wave, has to use Q to farm. So then the Tristana can move up and try zone out the Morgana. Yeah, so all you got to do here is, like, honestly just force out the Syndra to play backwards. Since she's so immobile, the only way she has to get out is flash, and since Morgana has no flash as well, she can't look forward. Since whoever she black shields is going to get all in by the Alistar and the other one, because if they stand close together, like they're positioned kind of now, if the Alistar engages onto one and Morgana can black shield that, then it's very easy to walk over and just E the other one. Or if you just flash Q and you've still got W to get behind them. A flash Q W. I think a flash Q even just destroys the entire Morgana shield with the damage. So yeah, so these guys are positioning way too far back. They should be up here, especially when that wave is even. Even now, they can still position up because Syndra has no cooldowns. Right, you got to play around those cooldowns, especially. I don't know if the support the thing which is working. It is. Let me just yeah. So you can see she's got cooldown on her ability. So whenever she uses an ability like a Q, that's a window for Alistar to look for an all-in. Or whenever she uses Scatter the Weak, it's very easy for Alistar to just walk up and go, hey, I'm going to kill you. And if she uses Scatter the Weak, then obviously Tristana has Rocket Jump. And there's like just many things they can do to jump on the Syndra. And her only form of disengage is the Scatter the Weak. So even a flash Q from the Alistar is way too fast for either Morgana or Syndra to react to if they're playing efficiently. I don't know about Guardian on Alistar as well. I think Aftershock is like significantly better. Fleet Footwork on Tristana is fine. Area on Malzahar is fine. Aftershock's fine. Grasp is fine. I would like to know what Alistar's runes are, because I know the support has some issues with runes. Knowing what's optimal, he kind of just puts like random shit, but it is what it is. Let's move on. This is really nice from Malzahar here. If I look up here, let's go back again. Shoving the wave and looking for this. Wait, let me go back one more time. Alright. So you know Oriana's reset here, obviously on a cannon wave. Malzahar doesn't really need to back. So moving up here and get this vision down is really, really nice. Since if you look at the mini-map, this whole area is covered. And we know his Raptors are down because of where he is. So he is pathing topside here because, you know, he just cleared bot side and was around there. So getting this vision, especially this pink here as well, this is a really nice pink. Because it shows all of the area to the Raptors. It shows like this area here. So there's no way that Lee Sin can avoid getting spotted out here. And obviously popping the blast cone to know if Krugs are up or if Lee Sin's at his Krugs already. He spots out Lee Sin. Knows where he is. So Sejuani's aware of the pathing. So when he clears the walls, it's really nice. Now, right here, the bot lane should be calling here. We're going to set up a freeze. So the Alistar should be dragging them. Should be standing here holding the minions, and they should be looking for a freeze here. And Sejuani should skip camps and just run straight to bot lane. They don't have pinks, even though they went back. Maybe they didn't go back. So because that's watered, I don't know when they walked up for the water. I was actually looking. So what I said was incorrect. That's a pretty fresh ward. Yeah, okay, never mind. So Sejuani should be full clearing here. Maybe looking for a lane gank if anything, but they should just be they should still be looking to freeze though on these two. On these two, especially since you see Syndra's got low mana, so Syndra definitely wants to look for it back. It's probably going to look for it back here. But if you walk up here and pressure the Syndra into lane or create a freeze here, Syndra has to choose to go back and lose like 2 waves of minions and have a slow push into her, which means you can definitely look for an all-in off a slow push. And that forces either her to burn cooldowns to cull the wave to set up a freeze, or let the wave crash and miss a lot of CS because her auto attacks don't do enough damage. Or you can stop her back and force her to stay in lane and low mana and then look for a jungle gank. Even if they have wards and the Syndra's low mana, it means she has to back like right away off. And if you just stay in lane and pressure around, she's going to eventually back and lose a lot of minions. So moving back here and letting the wave crash is really bad here. They decide to let the wave crash, and Syndra gets a nice back off. And even though they've got gold here, they shouldn't be going back, especially because they're full health, full mana. And so, especially if they were looking for a back, there's no reason to step up here and look for a freeze. Absolutely no reason, because if they're looking for a back, they're full health, full mana, means they should be looking to pressure them and taking bad trades. Because if you take bad trades, you force them to go back before they want to, and because you have so much health and mana, you're able to just eat that and trade it away and then get your back off and come back to lane. And you should definitely be looking to shove this wave in and punish them for backing in an awkward time. So this is really poor from bot lane. This is like a this CS league could be plus 10 to Tristana. It should be like 60. It should be 61 to like 39 CS if she played that correctly. Actually played the early lane properly. I'm not going to draw anymore. That's pretty retarded. Mid lane's really poor as well. Malzahar has like 36 CS down. Obviously in the POV, if you want to see more of what went wrong, I was mainly just clicking and spamming abilities on me for no reason. Really nice kill on the top side there. Obviously Trundle did decent to kite back down here, but because when he came back out, he had this huge minion wave, he was taking a lot of minion damage. So actually, I should rewind that and actually go into more specifics about why that worked. Back, So obviously from here, Trundle is like really low on health. The ultimate misses from Sign. Wait, let's slow this down. Ultimate misses from Sign. Obviously, he kites into the brush here, but what he doesn't take into account is this next minion wave arriving. So because this next minion wave has arrived, it means there's 6 minions that are attacking him, and there is 0 minions attacking Sion. Especially because he was able to clear that wave with his ultimate. I don't know if he was thinking about that, but that's really good. So even though he's getting a lot of health back here from the Shelter Gate, as you see, the Sion just slows and just kites it out, and he takes about 300 damage from minion health. Lands the Q there because he's slowed, and then last order to pick up the kill. Decent issue invade there, looking for something. Okay, this is a big issue here as well. So going for this blue buff invade is fine, since you know Lee Sin's path across here. Obviously they had wards here, but Sejuani should be definitely popping Sweeper here. Oh, it's on cooldown. Okay, see, I looked at this afterwards. So this is, I mean, like, generally you don't do this, but this is actually a really good warding strategy. By the way, you put a pink ward and a normal ward in the same brush, so when they clear out one pink, they think they're out of vision, which is exactly what's happened here, and they look for the all-in. The Sejuani not being 6 here is really bad. I probably should have gone for Scuttle before going to blue, because if you went for the Scuttle, they wouldn't have vision on the invade. Lee Sin definitely would have pathed topside, because there's no reason to him be bot side just for a blue buff, when he has like these 2 camps to clear. And top lane is in a good wave position for him to look for a gank as well. And his bot lane's recalled. So he definitely doesn't want to be bot here. So if you take Scuttle, get 6 on the Sejuani, and then look for this invade, this is much, much better. Just because, A, he's not going to be on the same side of, he's just around mid lane pathing top side, so you can assume it. But because they have vision, this was the right call from them to turn and go. Also, when looking at mid lane, once the wave was cleared, it's pretty obvious Ori was going to roam on the reset. Obviously wasn't thought about, and as a result, this is what the result is. So obviously you clear out the wave, know what's going on, but the 2 Aldermans combined together, and unfortunately Lee Sin just gets away from the Mal's damage there. That's because Malzahar has no items though. Malzahar somehow even up the CS though. I don't know how I did that, but there you go. I think Ori's just missed like 2 waves. Malzahar does have the blue buff as well, which is really nice for him. Moving out of lane there, getting vision. Not even just betting into fog of war. No reason to step up there as a control mage. You just want to wait for that shield to come back up with Malzahar. Look at that bot lane thing. I didn't actually see that. Gets the shield out. Tristana Rocket jumps in. Okay, so this is just purely a result of the Syndra, Syndra being a MOBA. So Alistair goes in, which forces out the cooldowns. And then they go for a re-engage with Alistair. Alistair obviously pops the ultimate. Tristana Rocket jumps in since Syndra has no peel after she used Scatter the Weak. And then from there, it's a pretty free kill to grab. And they do. And then Morgana is forced to stay under tower. And they lose a lot of CS, so that's a big lead for the bot lane. And get a reset off with the kills. So that's 1700 gold in Tristana's pocket, which should be an IE upgrade. Or getting towards the Agi, I guess not. Just got Raptor Cloak. Oh, Raptor Cloak can upgrade to Zerk Greaves. Yeah, that's much better buy. Guess I could have looked for plating as well instead of just backing there instantly. See, all 4 missing. Maybe looking for a 4-man dive here. This is really good from Ori hovering around, getting a nice ward in the jungle there. This is really nice on the top side though. Good gank obviously, just when he's sitting in there not knowing what's coming. This is really bad. Alright, let's go back and slow this down a little bit. Okay, you know 100%, you saw like Lee Sin and everyone bot side. Like, you see all this, you know that your jungler's making a play top side. So 100%, the Lee Sin knows your jungler is up top side after you make the play, right? So you can't ever look for you should never be looking for an all unless they really hard overstep. So you know 100%, like you even see, wait, do you even see him here? Yeah, so you see the Lee Sin here, like you know Lee Sin is like right here, yeah? So you know he's going to be on his bot side regardless. So why would you ever look for a fight here? Get the ward down as well, you know they're clearing it out. Tristana is autoing to push the wave here. She shouldn't be. She should honestly just be letting the minions die. Or just trying to slow push. Speeds up a little bit more, so it's normal speed. So you still know the Lee Sin's around. We know he's in the brush here and pinking it. This is a good game from... I mean, it's not really a good game from Lee Sin because they know that he's there. Like, they know 100% that he's topside here. And Alistar, literally not thinking about it, just goes straight into the Morgana. And then... like, this is just really, really bad from these two. Like, you know Lee Sin, so you're sitting here, right? You have no vision of this area, so it's very obvious that he's just walked in here into a lane gank. Or even if he's on Gromp, you should never be going for an engage here because you can't just simply get a kill. Since Morgana and the Syndra have both their ultimates available. Obviously, it looks like they just use it, but obviously they didn't obviously use it in this fight, as you'll see coming up here. I'll click back on this. Pause. The Soul Shackles comes out, gets the stun, the Unleash Power, and they both fall there. So as I said, you know, they have all their cooldowns up. They have, you know, Lee Sin there. Like, even if you go for an engage with both their cooldowns up, the Syndra just ults and then gets a stun and disengages. That's just a really poor in. Obviously, not thinking about jungle pressure and not thinking about how they're playing the game. I don't know how I pulled that back in the mid lane at all. Obviously, Ori's gone for QSS sec, which is good from her. Mrs. Q gets ult, that's dead from Malzahar there. Could have ulted there from the Malzahar, so I would have been able to kill the Orianna. She instantly turned around and ulted. And then extra damage would have picked up the kill. Obviously not fast enough with the hands there, but it was really poor position to get caught out by the EW when they're slow, burning the flash. And Ori obviously just flash followed and got the kill. Tristana ordering the Morgana over getting for CS there. So spinning this back up again. Again, another repeat gank on the top side. This is fine for zoning off pressure, but at the moment you should definitely be looking for a Rift Herald here since, you know, the Lee Sin's still bot, and it's before 14 minutes, so getting the Rift Herald like they're going for now, I mean, I called that, but should have been looking for that immediately after you got that Trundle gank. Should have looked to shove the wave and immediately move for Rift Herald, because then you can move it and drop it either top or mid lane and get an extra 300 gold just from the Tara plating. So Lee Sin's still bot. It's good dodge from Sadler. Sped up a little bit. I don't care about top side, I should do bot side here. Alright. Getting plating here is fine. Also turns around. Tristana, okay, yeah, so right here the call should just be run off and back. Like, because you know they've just reset, right? They're fresh off mana. Obviously, it's a good juke from Alistar. If he got hit by that root, he was dead. And you should assume Lee Sin's topside just because your jungler is all over this area and you got it all watered up. So you should still know that Lee Sin's bot. Obviously, they didn't stop them last time. Tristana walks up for an auto for no reason. And from this, like, yeah, this is pretty much... Gets a double stun there with the ball. Really nice from Syndra. Alistar headbutts it away. Tristana just gets out. Luckily, they both get out because they have sums and Alistar has ultimate. But that's really bad using all your cooldowns there, and now that they get free wave tempo as well. Alright, let's look back on the top lane here. I'm assuming this is the dude just them going from Scuttle and knowing, yeah, this is just Trundle making a really bad trade, not respecting the jungler, and instantly just gets CC'd up. Even if he has a subjugate, he's not able to get a kill because of the Scion. This is really bad from Malzahar. He's just using Q for no reason. Obviously, he's just trying to call the wave, but you should be letting it crash and looking for CS. Since you're not getting benefit of those Voidlings. and again gets caught by the ultimate and just dies. It's really poor from Mouse. If anything, like honestly, once you get that, like once you're in that position, you can just wait for the wave to crash and then just back and then TP back in with items. Or you haven't got anything, you just got back to lane. So there you go. Obviously trading sides, and off that kill in the top lane, they got the tower up there with the Rift Herald. Orianna should pick up this turret here. Pick up a little bit. Malzahar TP's in. Kind of unnecessarily. Looks to pick on the Lee Sin, but Lee Sin passed the other way. I don't know what Lee Sin did there. He's never going to get a kill. This is really good from them rotating up and getting a pick off on the Syndra in the side lane. This is kind of poor. This is a really silly engage. They all have cooldowns up and triangles there as well, so as a result they both go down. Especially since they just made a play on the top side. This is a game not respecting where your jungler is and not respecting where their jungler is. Obviously jungle wasn't there as a factor, but you just didn't have a man advantage since you know 3 people were top side. And they have a result of that, and you know that there was only one top side, so the other 4 have to be middle bot. So making a play there was definitely not optimal. Only 16 minutes into the game. Are still like we're behind in gold, but it's not terrible. So just the Malzahar just like hard anting. But bot lane is still ahead and top lane is ahead as well. So Juani misses ultimate, but it doesn't matter. At least he went for a little bit of aggressive engage. TP comes out and then forces back off. This is actually a really good fight though here. Malzahar has a flank, just be walking out there. It's really nice. Slow this down a little bit. Obviously ulting straight into the Lee Sin. It does die there to the fight. Morgana's zoned off. Man, I want to see where did he miss the? Oh, he flashes away. It's a nice kill there. It's really nice from Morgana though. Really good ultimate. Alistar pops ultimate. Don't know why. Oh, misses the headbutt Polv. That's really bad from the Alistar. Obviously, the Trundle coming back on the re-engage means they have to move away, and this is really good. They just zone out of the fight here. Decent pick up for them on the jungler. Definitely could have been some more kills, but some mechanical misplays overall. Fortunately, Trundle goes down, but Tristana with the rocket jumps, able to put the water bill and get the kill, and they lose the tower. So overall, that's a positive for the red side, but getting kills back is still nice, especially getting gold onto the Tristana there. Clearing out vision around this next dragon that's up. It is another mountain drake, so that's really important for Baron that's coming up soon. Wait, shit. Okay, let's get back a little bit. Alright, so coming off the reset off the team fight, it's really good you have Malzahar bot here. We had a little bit of an issue with this in comms, so I'm just going to explain it again really quickly. So the next objective coming up, if we look at, how do I look at the, you know, the next objective coming up is Dragon. Obviously, this way, let's go back to when the rotation was actually made. Right. So here, when we're coming off the, let's go a little bit forward here. So off the reset here, like after that fight, obviously everyone's just like respawn, reset, whatever. You need to have the Malzahar bot here because the next objective coming up is the Dragon. Obviously the Baron's important, but the Baron's not going to look for a 20-minute Baron when you're this far behind and have these items like this. And this team doesn't have enough Baron potential because they don't have any like consistent DPS. So you need to have Malzahar bot and Sai on top still in terms of lane allocation. Also, the Malzahar is behind, so it's better to have him in a longer lane in terms of like he can play further back to this turret rather than having to be pushed up here. Or pushed up here, because it's much easier to pick on the Malz than it is to get a pick. It's easy. Yeah, it's easier to get a pick on the Malz than it is to get a pick on the Scion. So Scion can play in the enemy half, where the Malzahar wants to only play in his own half because he's low mobility and he's very far behind. So both supports are up here clearing vision around. The jungler as well. Okay. This from Malzahar is okay, but we know Lee Sin's top side here for the ward, so he should just be looking to clear this wave and then just run back. But for some reason he walks around and stays. The second you see the Malzahar there in that ward and you know the jungler and support are moving to you should just immediately back off. It's not worth getting that extra 3 or 4 CS at the risk of dying. See coming in here, the ultimate out on the Syndra has to cancel it early to get away from the Lee Sin there. But the support, the Ori and the what's it called? The Ori and the thing get here first, so they both die. And obviously Lee Sin kick is used to kill the Malzahar. See, now Baron setup is what you want to be doing. Malzahar again is looking like he's like super pushed up here and not being aware of the enemy team. Obviously should be recalling here, but walks down into the river to get the blue buff. Obviously gets taken away, and from here you should just look to back. But walk back into the river because I'm fucking retarded. Over the scuttle there and just get like picked out. Like, what the fuck am I doing? That's really, really bad for the Malzahar. Also should have just held the ulti. But oddly enough, this entire team, like, this is really bad from red side going onto the Baron here. Since they know like 100% that the other, like, we know we're around here. Tyne also has his TP available. So taking this Baron is super bad because they're squishy and they can't do it very fast either. So we're going to slow this down. Obviously, Sion TP comes in. Malzahar also has TP off respawn. Obviously, they back off here, which is fine. They should just look to reset and recall, getting out the Sion teleport. But instead, they like to stay and look for a pick, maybe in the Sejuani. The Sion gets a good knock up. Tristana's gone back to push mid here, which is fine because the red team should just be backing off here, but they stay for absolutely no reason. And this is just easier and easier for Malzahar to come in. They do lose the 5v5. They just keep staying around. Now the entire... Okay, let's see. So before they get this pick off here, I'll go back. Alright. So this is really, really good for blue side here because of the way their tanks are. So they've got their tanks in the front line. They've got the Tristana coming in and Malzahar's about to respawn with his TP. And they've got good wards here for Malzahar to get instantly into the fight. Or into the pit if he really needs to get it. That's not a great TP because you get caught out really easily. So they've got the front to back setup that they need. Like, their win conditions, right? You need front to back setup. You need the Tristana and the Malzahar in the back line. And you need the 3 tanks up the front here. And that means there's no way that this team can actually get past since they have no dive potential. And because they're 2 squishy mages, they can't use their abilities to get past. And they have no way to deliver the Ori ball if Lee Sin dies. So the only way they get to the backline is a Lee Sin insect, with kicks out the Malzahar. And they can engage on that, but because if they're positioned correctly with the front line, the Lee Sin kick will only kick him into his own front line, and that way he can get peeled by the Sejuani and Alistar. So if they ever take a front to back fight, there's no way that they can win. Which is why they're coming back and forth here, especially with their jungler so low. He's just really, really poor. And the Alistar and the Sejuani and the Sion don't really care. They can play whatever the fuck they want. The Lee Sin just walks straight into a kick. And this is just insta-dead from the Alistar. Obviously, Trundle here is on the back line, but at this point, because he's the only frontline tank, once he gets mispositioned to over here, it's literally just too easy for them to engage straight onto the squishies in the back line, and then they have no damage once the Syndra and the Orianna die. As you see, yeah, obviously the Trundle in the back line is just completely fucked. The Syndra can't get in to do any damage onto the Tristana, and now Malzahar's here as well. There just really isn't anything, and he has his ultimate available. So you have Trundle here, which is going to get instantly killed because everyone's turned onto him. Morgana's got the Soul Shackles, but it doesn't matter. And the Syndra can't really position up any further because you can just get re-engaged on by the Alistar, who still has his cooldowns. See the Sejuani ult just comes out. This is really nice from the Tristana getting into the back line. And from this point, there's like just nothing you can do. And then instantly the blue team gets Baron, and this completely swings the game in the favor of blue side. Because they've evened up the goal lead, they have the scaling advantage, and they get the Baron despite being against 2 Mount Drakes. So at this point, it's really, really hard for the red side to actually win, since the blue side, all they have to do is just use this Baron to siege Tristana, and just kind of relax, and just wait for scaling, and just look for front-to-back fights around objectives like that, or around turrets, because they can look to dive, especially with this Scion getting as tanky as he is, and since the carries can just simply itemize MR, I don't know why he's going for Fist here. The Scion, this is an odd decision. I think a Gargoyles here is much better, because you just want to, like, their only AD damage is the Lee Sin, but the Lee Sin does no damage. Like, healing does burst damage, so there's no reason building a whole Frozen Fist. Because as a Scion, you don't really need the stats of it, and the Gargoyles is just infinitely better, because it gives you the same, like, enough armor to deal with the damage that comes out of Lee Sin and Trundle. But you also don't have to lose the cost of the, you also don't lose the damage coming out of, like, you don't have to waste itemizing against these two, since you need as much MR since they've got double pan. And Aria, like, the Sidra really has to build QSS here as well, for the Malzahar. Or the Lee Sin should build it, because they're the only targets that he has, those two that really matter. Because ulting Trundle, ulting a Morgana, I mean, you'd never really ult a Morgana, she's like only one alive, because it doesn't really give you anything. You might want to ult a Trundle just to shred through health, but because he's gone for Hydra, he's not very tanky. Or Ravenous Hydra, he's not very tanky. So that is a problem playing against Malzahar. You gotta pay the tax, and if you don't, it's much harder to win a team fight. Relies on good positioning. Obviously, here with Baron, the red teams look for vision in the red side jungle, and as a result, they've lost the inside track, and they just get zoned out completely here. So you can see by Lee Sin's positioning here, he's looking for a flank onto the back line. But because we're going to be set up here, it's very hard for him to look for a pick, especially when Malzahar's up with ultimate. So the second the Lee Sin jumps in, he just gets Malz ulted and he just dies if he doesn't have QSS, which he doesn't. So the Lee Sin should just be positioning back here and just looking to sit with his team and wave clear. Obviously, they've grouped up as a 5-man here, and the Scion can move across from the side lane. Scion should be still looking to shove this wave in and pressuring this turret. Since Scion being here, like the Sejuani and the Alistar have as much peel as the Scion, and it's better for Scion to be pressuring that side turret than to be taking a full-on 5v5, because this team, as they are with their cooldowns, with the Baron, they can just simply win a 4v5, and the Malzahar can use his Q and R threat to zone off the enemy from the tower here. Yeah, so the Scion goes back to pushing the wave, obviously looking to clear jungle camps. The call is to back off here because the Tristana didn't back after the Baron, which is a big error. And as a result, they literally could have kept sieging that, and they would have gotten definitely a tower or two. But this has wasted a lot of Baron time since they came out of base, but they all have to reset again because the Tristana didn't buy. So if you go back a little bit here, yeah. So Tristana is sitting on 2,000 gold because she just walked from Baron straight to mid lane. Let me see this again actually before they went to the reset. So let's see after Baron. Yeah, so we take Baron here. The wave here is shoving into blue side. And Tristana just simply walks up to get this wave, to hit this wave, when there's literally no need to, because this wave's just going to push. You might lose a couple minions, but there's more minions, so they're going to kill your minions faster than you kill them. So it's literally just faster to reset and come out, and also you get to spend your gold, which means you can instantly look for a siege and look for this tower here. Not recalling here costs an inhib tower, which is a really big deal. It's really that's a very crucial mistake there. If that happened in pro, that's almost like game losing, because it just gives up so much tempo. I still don't know where they look for vision, like clearing out vision in this area, because they shouldn't be looking to move here, especially since the enemy team is Baron. And as a result, that's why they're still able to get the siege off. If they just look to clear the minions, when the Tristana was still there, they could have definitely forced her off while the rest of the team was backed, and the Tristana would have either died there, or they would have been able to shove the wave, and it means the siege would have taken longer to set up, which means you waste more Baron time. Obviously, posturing around the Mountain Dragon here. Should be still looking for more turret pressure like this. Okay, here. So this is really nice from Mal's, pushing this wave. So we know we have vision control of the area, so we know if they're gonna get because when you're trying to siege, right, you don't want to look for these neutral objectives unless you have pressure on tower, which means they cannot contest you. So you look to because you have Baron and because you have better siege and better team fight, you're able to secure a neutral objection like Dragon without having to contest it directly with the enemy team. So because this team's positioned here, you should be looking to pressure these two towers here, because since they're positioned so far up, they either have to make the choice of, oh, we're going to get the Mountain Dragon here, or we're going to lose our Nexus tower. Because it's one or the other. Because it takes 7 seconds to back after they kill the objective. It'll take roughly 6 seconds or so to kill the Mountain Dragon, which is on like 5,000 health. And so if they want to go for this objective, they're going to lose definitely an inhib, if not a Nexus tower, because of the Baron, and they're going to be losing 1 or 2 turrets topside. As well as risking the collapse, because this is a better team fight, and if we're coming with a Sion from this side, the Sejuani and Alistair from this side, they can't run out this way because Sion can simply ult and block off this choke point. And then you just get Tristana and Mal's in the backline just free hitting. So the red side has no reason to be here. Like, they can't be here. And if the blue side didn't move for vision in the air, like, they should just move one to get the control. And as you can see, is exactly what I'm talking about. They're forced to take this. They're forced to work all the way through here, and they do end up going for Dragon, but you still just lose this. And then obviously Baron just expires, so they get a free inhib tower, and everyone just resets here. And so now they're coming off the reset fresh. They have the inhib down, and they can simply just. So what the blue side wants to do is obviously, so they just want four people in the top side. Keep Sion in the bot side. Since Baron's spawning in 150, so you want to look for control of vision in the area, and you shouldn't be pressuring the tower. And since they have exposed inhibs, you can just slow push mid in. So eventually you get a big, like a 3-stack wave that can pressure the inhib, so they have to answer it as well. So you just want to create pressure in the longest lane. And if you have 4-1, it means the Trundle can't just rotate between mid and top. So you really want to spread them out as far as possible when you're doing this. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, so this is really good. Obviously, just pressuring full top. They've got a slow pushing wave here, so that's going to stack up and pressure the inhib. Alistair gets. Wait, how the fuck does Alistair get caught there? Let's just play this from here. So obviously, the call from the team is to group up in the side lane. Alistair's not with the team. He passed this way, like this, instead of pathing around the safer way. Since you do know they're going to look to contest vision here around the Baron. And you have no vision in their jungle, so you don't know where they are. Then obviously not top side, they're obviously not mid because you're shoving us. So they have to be in a side lane, and you saw the Syndra on this ward, so you know they're all in this jungle area. So trying to walk this way to get to bot lane is really retarded. You should just be walking with the team. Playing safe, like this is like this in Korean Halo. This is what you get. You get a permaflame for this. Like you literally just get like raged and tilted at for doing this. Because this is really unsafe rotation. It's literally just better to play safe and walk through lanes. Because walking through here and getting this ward down does nothing when the call is not to get vision on this area, it's to pressure and then you get to vision. So whenever you're looking to play around an objective, it's important you have pressure on something. It's because if you're pressuring an objective and you're forcing a reaction, it means they can't be in this area, right? If you're forcing them to come to one of the objectives you're pressuring, which means you have free time to put the stuff in and it's uncontested and it's free, which means you less risk of getting caught out and less risk of throwing the game. And if they come to catch you out, you know that they're rotating. So this is why this is really, really bad to look for vision in this area. You should do that afterwards. And that's either just support knowledge or not communicating effectively. They look to reset here. But because they've rotated slowly and they killed the Syndra, it is still a 3v3, and the Sejuani with the 2 carries is still fine for amount of peel, and because they just do so much damage. The Malzahar with these two items is like just too much damage. So they get the tower there. They get to reset off. This red buff here is really, really greedy, but gets away with it. And now they want to just have a group reset here and look for vision. So again, this is the Alistar getting caught out here. He should not be here, since his entire team is reset, and so they know that. So you know off reset, right? If you reset, you have no tempo, and if you have no tempo, it means the enemy team can do what they want with the map. So so you cannot be in a exposed position if you don't have tempo, but you need to have tempo. Tempo is like essential. So this is what they should be doing. The support and jungle looking in to get the waves. The mid laner and AD carry just pushing out waves here. That's a nice pick from the AD carry, but it's just the AD carry goes bot. Like you do need the AD carry there to kill the Trundle, which is nice, but it means you lose a lot from doing that. Fuck, is open my window for? Ah! I'll slow this down because it's kind of important. So obviously, you just want to be playing around objectives here, looking to find a front-to-back fight. You have to wait for the Tristana to come over, but the Malzahar still does a lot of damage. Obviously, it's a really nice stun from the Syndra there, but she does step up a little bit too fast, and she has like no real peel here. This is really poor positioning for the Malzahar here because the tanks are backing off. It is actually fine to engage on this. But you can't be going for anything here if your tanks are here. So this Malzahar could very easily, this Lee Sin should be, like this Malzahar should be dead, like really dead. This is really, really bad. You need to be positioning behind your tanks as a Malz. You need to be positioned like an AD carry. And so either the call has to be, let's go on the Syndra, and the tanks have to be standing here, looking to peel the Malz, or the Malzahar just needs to back off with the tanks. So this is like a lack of synergy. Fortunately, the Lee Sin doesn't fucking W to this ward and kick the Malz. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Like, this is really retarded from Lee Sin. All Lee Sin has to do is W from here, flash, kick, Q, flash, Q, kick. Flash, Q, kick, kicks him back into the team, cancels the suppression, the execute comes through and Malzahar just dies for free. So this is Lee Sin being not good at the game. So somehow the Malzahar survives, the TP from Sign comes out, and the Tristana arrives, and this is like, the red team can't do anything. Like, they all just die here. Malzahar and Alistar are really, really low, and they should be resetting, since Alistar doesn't need to stay here for Baron pressure, because they have two other tanks that are here already. Malzahar resetting because he has TP, so that's okay. The Syndra here is, I don't know why the Syndra's walking up to contest that. They just get insta-kill. And it's really essential that Alistar backs. But he stays. Just so much time waiting from Alistar. But they still know the jungle is dead, so all you have to do is just DPS Baron here. And that should just be the game. Obviously Tristana looks to go on them, which he shouldn't be doing. Alistar comes in. Like, this is really bad. Like, you just gotta leave the Alistar to die here. There's no reason to be fighting after you get the objective, since once you've got Baron already, there's just no point. Oh, that's really nice from Malzahar. That's really bad chase from them. Let's look back at this really quickly. So this is a really bad chase from them. Obviously, the Syndra's just TP in, but fighting in a choke like this against Sejuani and Malzahar, especially since Malzahar still has his ultimate, is just like really grief from these three. Since the Malzahar does AoE % max health damage, so Trundle can't walk in here, because if Malzahar ults the Syndra, there's no damage coming from anybody, and the Trundle just gets chunked because he's walking through the Malz ultimate, which takes up the whole choke point. So he'd lose like a lot of fucking health from the Malz ulti here, which is exactly what happened. So they come and walk in. Obviously Malzahar EW. The Black Shield comes out late. The Silence just chunks, and now this E is going to kill the Syndra, bounces to the other one. She's going to die, and the Trundle lost all his health there. That's just one Malzahar. That's Malzahar Q plus AoE from the R, and does that much damage to the Trundle. Malzahar's a disgusting champion, to be honest. The Sejuani comes out to just kill the Trundle. And then, like, from this point, the game's just over. They're 5k goal behind. Malzahar's caught up from his really bad lane phase. The Tristana's really far ahead. There's literally just nothing they can do. Sion should be just waiting for his team to get back off the reset here. Obviously, this is going a bit faster, but this is like, honestly, this should be the end of the game here. I think this is, yeah. Pretty much the end of the game. Like, they just can't do anything. Alright, let's see this engage here from the enemy team. So, as you kind of discussed before, you just want to play front to back. The Alistar using his combo there is really, really poor. It means it's still on cooldown. So he doesn't actually have it up. Well, he has it up now. So he still has 3 combo. So this is poor positioning from the 2 carries. The carry should be sitting back here, like this. Obviously, that's more towards the wall because, you know, this team, the team fight's kind of split this way. Like, this is the center point of 2 teams. So you want to have your 3 tanks here, here, and here. Probably Sion, Sedge, and then Ali, like that. Or Ali in the middle, maybe, to peel. Or look for an engage onto the enemy team. Because these 2 are looking for engage. Or this is like the Sejuani ult, he's just looking to peel the back lane here. You can presume. This is fucking really good from Syndra. I just got a 4-man stun. And this is literally just, as I said, because positioning. Because the 3 tanks are grouped together so tightly, they should be, as I said, positioned here, here, and here. So if Syndra walks up for an angle on the stun, she gets engaged on by Sejuani and Alistar. And the backline, because they're positioned here and here, it's pretty free DPS onto the Syndra if she moves up into this position. So this is just poor positioning overall. So yeah, because you need to, you should be wary for Scatter the Weak, because Scatter the Weak can land a big stun like that, so you should be not looking for a combo. Obviously, Lee Sin goes into the backline here. Does manage to kick the Tristana back into the front line, which is really good from her. He dies, and the Ahri ultimate ball is really good. Since the Tristana goes down here, it's really hard for them to re-engage this fight. But thankfully, the Sion is still full. Wait, let me get back here. So the Sion here is full health in the backline, and the Syndra and Orianna are out of cooldowns because they just used them all to kill the Tristana and burst down the Alistar here. So Sion is able to definitely kill this Morgana, and then look to just zone this Syndra, while the Malzahar, who's still full health with the blue buff and ultimate in the backline, can simply look to kill pretty much everybody here. When he can just kite back with his Rylai's, and I think, do I have... Yeah, he has Rylai's and Horny Guys, so he's going to absolutely just shred through everybody if they look for an extended fight. So red side here just needs to call... The call for red side has to be just disengage, disengage, disengage. We're not going to get anything off. And just, they should all be, like, this from the... This is really bad from Trundle and Syndra. They should both be looking to just 5-man, just chunk down this Sion in the backline. Here. They should all be turning on the Sion, but instead they look for the Sejuani, the full health Sejuani and the Alistar. Obviously, if there's a Q comes across here from Mal's, it's much better. Still has ultimate available, however. Turns to ult on the Trundle. This is really bad. Like, Sejuani should know that we can fight here because of Malzahar. Moving back here. If she positions like here-ish, then we can look for re-engage. I don't know why the Lee Sin is going on to the fucking Sejuani here. This is really poor from the Sejuani. Obviously, Malzahar flashes away. The Syndra here should just look to run away because that Q is going to chunk both of them. There's both of their E's sticking around both of them. Picks up another thing, and that's both of them dead. From here, I think you just end the game with 40-second cooldowns, 40-second timers. Ori's out of mana, has to go back to base. They have Baron buff as well. Yeah, the game's just over here, simply. If the Sion groups up in front lines here, they just end the game. But instead, the Claws, they just back off. They definitely could have gone for end there if the Sejuani and the Sion frontline. I think Malzahar just got scared because he was low on back off, which is really poor for Malz. You should know that differently. This is really bad positioning from Malz. Really fucking bad. Obviously, he's going for blue buff here, and they're rotating to bot lane. And this is the same thing that Alistar did before, right? Alistar pathed in through the enemy jungle, where all you should be doing is just pathing through lane here. pathing, even that is still like a risky path, but it's just so much safer. Going around here shaves maybe, I don't know, 1 second off, 2 seconds off maybe, but it risks giving up your gold. Especially since Malzahar just got a huge bounty from that last fight. So he's sitting on 600 gold bounty. And because they're so far ahead, it's really risky giving that bounty over to the enemy team. So Lee Sin misses his Q, which is really grief. Malzahar ult, obviously self-peel. Misses the Q on the Lee Sin. If he Qs the Lee Sin dies there. But Lee Sin for some reason W's over the wall into the enemy team. Malzahar, don't know how he got out of that full health, but he does. The jungler just falls down here, and then off this team fight, there's really nothing they can do. They just go through and end the game here. Tristana using jump resets there. This way too fast. But regardless, this is what it is. The game just ends here. And there's the end of the game. Yeah, so as I kind of said at the start of the game, this team outscales in team fights because they're better front to back. They have an AD carry which scales with items. They have a Malzahar which scales with items, and his ultimate's more useful than both of these two. These are really stat checker AD carries, so stat checker major, sorry. And because the Syndra's bot lane, she doesn't scale to levels she needs to get her upgrades on her basic abilities with her passive and get rank 3 ultimate. And as a result, because she's only level 13 here at the end of the game, 35 minutes in, that's really, really bad from the Syndra. That's lane allocation, dying too much, stuff like that. And I just think Syndra bot lane is just a really, really poor pick, especially since the AD carry items are back. Playing a mage bot lane is retarded, honestly. Probably shouldn't say that word, but yeah, no, it's pretty dumb. Malzahar lost lane super hard, which is the only reason why this team took a lot longer to get online. Alistar got caught out way too many times as well, so Alistar and Malz need to really work on positioning and thinking about what the enemy can do to them rather than just what their abilities do. Thinking about pathing and playing our objectives, so using pressure a lot more. This is a decent game in case of using pressure for objectives. There's a couple of people who weren't on the same page, namely Alistar, Tristana, and Sejuani. And there are a couple of inopportune times where they went for a couple of plays they really shouldn't have, especially in the bot lane and then also in the mid lane as well. With the Scion, there was one play that was really quite bad. So it is basically just focusing on where the enemies are, what they can do, and not making two plays on opposite sides of the map at the same time. If you know the jungler is on one side, there's no reason to go for a gauge, especially when your comp is ahead. If it's like a Draven Thresh lane and there's the jungler's top side, sure, you can still look for a play because you have that damage. But when you're Tristana Alistar into a lane like this, it's just you just know, okay, we just outscale, so there's no reason to risk going for a play here because we don't know where the jungler is, and we know our jungler can't assist us if we get caught out. Or if we're going to lose this trade. So when you're going for skirmishes and stuff like that, the most important thing to think about is how far away is my team and who can rotate first when you're looking to see if I can win or lose the trade. Because even if you lose it, right, if your team comes first, you can win it because it's 2v1. Even if in the pure 1v1 you just lose. So that was my quick VOD review there of the scrim we did the other day. I hope you guys enjoyed that and you learned something out of it, especially the boys from the team that are watching. Yeah, that's pretty much all. I think this Sejuani played really well. The pathing was really efficient early on. Was kind of in the right place when she needed to be. And understood that win condition was not to look for early ganks, just to simply out-farm. Went for a couple of invades were a little bit risky, but overall the game was played well. And yeah, nice game. Thanks for watching.